And the insurgency in the country's north is already taking its toll. The International Committee of the Red Cross says many of the displaced people in the insurgency hit areas have no access to food and other basic amenities. Quite worrying. And joining us to discuss this is a public affairs commentator, Chuks, Onwoko. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks. Thank you for having me.
Now, what approaches can the federal government take to make this internally displaced persons more comfortable?
You come to the government first responsibility is to care for the people, protect them, provide for them, their social needs and economic needs as well. And the question to ask is, this is not the first time that people are displaced in the world. So what has happened? We have current activities going on in Iraq and other places. What can you do? You can drop food for them by air. You can supply them water, bottled water and sachet water, But what is important here is that government have to come to the realization that the people come first, that the people must be cared for by somebody. I mean, that is why you want to be governor, you want to be president. And I heard the governor speaking. That is the primary responsibility, the people.
Now, do you think it will be easy for the Nigerian government to be able to track the displaced people who are scattered around in the woods after fleeing the movie area?
Absolutely. Even for an ordinary organization. Don't forget that we're talking about government here. You have all the resources. You can bring in people from abroad to come and help you if you can't do it. But when you talk of government, and why we are constantly referring to government, because we know what the Constitution says about government. For instance, somebody wants to be president, he wants to be governor, he must tell us now why you want to do so, because they must understand our responsibility first. You have a responsibility, So it's easy. It's easy. They're just the problem you might probably face is what we call challenges. But you can always ask for help. If a company's staff is trapped somewhere in the Niger Delta and the kidnappers den and all that, these companies go find a solution to those challenges. These are citizens. It's government's responsibility, and they must find a way of locating them and taking care of them.
How worried are you about the safety of these internally displaced persons, especially against the backdrop of reports that the insurgents are renaming towns and indeed telling the people to come into those towns for their own safety?
We should all be worried, not me. All of us should be worried. Now, the danger in this situation is that I live in Lagos, you live in Lagos. We're completely disconnected from what is going on. We do not feel the pain that, except you have the ability to empathize and to connect with the pains of other people. You will not know what it feels to be in that situation, especially as I do not believe about a year ago that we were in a war situation. I've always believed that if my nation is going to war, I should be conscripted to go into that situation. But the way it looks like, I saw those pictures. There are things that can make any man feel pains with the people that are involved. So what we can do is first empathize with them and ask ourselves, what can we do to help, even as we seem to be comfortable here in the South. Those are human beings. It can be, I've seen those pictures in the past come from Congo and from other parts of the world. I did not believe that in 2014, I'll be seeing those images come in my, in my sitting room in my country. It's very disheartening. It's something that we must all be angry at.
All right, now the territorial integrity of Nigeria is very much at stake with the activities of the insurgent group in the northern part of the country. Now, how do you think the Nigerian government can tackle this problem? Obviously, now the negotiation, which it purportedly said it went through with the sect, is not pulling through.
We've been over this matter in the last 2 years. I've been in your program, several in different programs, in this organization. And first, one of the things that I feel very bad about is the fact that I woke up one morning and the United Nations building in Abuja was bombed. Women and men who woke up and left their families to go to work didn't make it back. And nothing, the statement I had was that because insurgency and terrorism has become a global phenomenon, nothing was done. If you have chased those guys at that time and unleashed governmental apparatus against them, you probably would have succeeded. Now, what is in the mind of these people? I don't know what they are seeking, but whatever they are seeking, the release of those insurgents, Boko Haram members, to the governor of whatever, is what I can call an appeasement. Appeasement does not work with people who have made up their mind on certain issues and they have taken up arms against their country. So you do not treat them like Nazi Chamberlain treated Hitler in the 1945, 46, 47 up to 48.
So how should they be treated?
You should confront them. We're engaged in a war of the underdog here. So the question to ask is, who is the underdog? As far as I'm concerned, it looks like the Nigerian state is the underdog. So we need to go all out, find out do our soul audit, do our national audit. What are our weaknesses? That's what I'm trying to say. Take a note, take a sheet of paper and a pen, note what are our weaknesses, why are we not winning this war, and all that. All the budgetary allocations that have been made, how has it been spent? What equipment do we have? All our oil subsidy, who and who have gained, who are these people sponsoring, what their source of income, and what is their grievances and all that. Then when you have done all of that, you bring people who are experts in the military strategy and all these areas where you need to harness their potentials and look at auditing. You audit our activities, audit our failures and whatever, and then translate our failures into success DNAs. And we can go after this because it looks like they cannot be appeased because they are looking for something that we do not know. I do not know what they are seeking, why they are annexing those communities and renaming them. I think it's an affront on us as a nation. It's an insult to our military.
All right.
It's an insult to us as a people.
I'm afraid I would have to stop you there because of time. But thank you for your time in the studio and, of course, sharing your thoughts with us on the displaced of Nigerian citizens in the northern part of the country because of the Boko Haram insurgency over there.
Thank you for having me.